The story of Rome is a tale of ambition, power and transformation. A journey that would shape the course of history for centuries to come. It all began in a modest way, with just a humble village nestled on the banks of the Tiber River in central Italy. Surrounded by rolling hills and fertile plains, this small settlement seemed unremarkable at first glance. The earliest Romans were shepherds and farmers, tending their flocks and working the land with simple tools. Their lives were shaped by the rhythms of nature and the challenges of survival, but they built strong bonds within their tight-knit community. Yet even in those early days, they dreamed of something greater. They looked beyond their fields and huts, imagining a future filled with promise and possibility. Over generations, Rome began to grow, slowly at first, then with increasing speed. The village expanded into a town, and the town into a city as new buildings rose and streets bustled with activity. People from all corners of the Italian peninsula were drawn to Rome. They came seeking opportunity, safety, and the hope of a better life for themselves and their families. The city became a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and traditions. By the year 275 before Christ, Rome had extended its influence over most of the Italian peninsula, uniting diverse peoples under its rule and setting the stage for even greater ambitions. With its power consolidated at home, Rome was now ready to face new challenges, looking outward beyond its borders toward lands yet unconquered and stories yet to be written. The early Romans were renowned for their practicality and resilience. They were builders, problem solvers and survivors, always adapting to whatever obstacles came their way. Strength, courage and loyalty were the values they held most dear, qualities that bound them together and helped them overcome adversity, both in peace and in war. These enduring traits would guide Rome as it rose from a simple village to a city of greatness and eventually to the very heart of a vast and legendary empire. Rome's rise to power was fueled by military might, but it was also driven by ambition and a relentless desire to expand its influence. From humble beginnings as a small city-state, Rome transformed itself into a force that would shape the destiny of continents. Roman legions, disciplined and relentless, marched across Europe, North Africa and the Middle East. Their training, organization and advanced tactics made them nearly unstoppable on the battlefield, striking fear into the hearts of their enemies. They conquered new territories and added them to the growing Roman Republic, turning former rivals into provinces and allies. Each victory brought new resources, wealth and people under Roman control. The Roman Empire became a melting pot of cultures and peoples, where traditions from across the known world blended together. Markets bustled with goods and languages from distant lands. It stretched from the misty British Isles in the north to the sun-baked deserts of Egypt in the south, and from the Atlantic coast to the edges of Mesopotamia. The Romans built roads and established trade routes, connecting their vast empire like never before. These roads allowed armies, merchants and messengers to travel quickly and efficiently. Goods and ideas flowed freely throughout the Roman world, sparking innovation and cultural exchange. Roman cities became centers of commerce, art and learning. But expansion came at a cost. The constant push for new lands meant endless conflict and hardship for soldiers and civilians alike. There were constant wars and rebellions to put down, as conquered peoples sometimes resisted Roman rule. The legions were always on alert, defending the empire's borders and quelling uprisings. Managing such a vast and diverse empire proved to be a challenge, even for the mighty Romans. The legacy of their conquests, however, would echo through history for centuries to come. Life in ancient Rome was a mix of luxury and squalor. For the wealthy, life was good. They lived in grand villas, enjoyed lavish banquets and watched gladiatorial contests at the Colosseum. Ordinary Romans, though, lived much simpler lives. They lived in crowded apartment blocks called insulae. They worked as labourers, craftsmen or shopkeepers. Bread, olives and wine were staples of their diet. Entertainment was important to the Romans. Chariot races at the Circus Maximus drew huge crowds. Gladiatorial combat was a popular spectacle, as were theatrical performances. The Romans were, really renowned for their engineering skills. They built an extensive network of roads, and honestly, some of these are still in use today. Roman roads were marvels of engineering, built to last. Aqueducts brought fresh water from distant sources to Roman cities. These impressive structures used gravity to transport water over long distances. The Colosseum, a massive amphitheatre, was another testament to Roman engineering. Roman buildings were grand and imposing, often built using concrete, a material they perfected. Their architecture reflected their power and their desire to leave a lasting legacy. The Roman Republic was ruled by a complex system of elected officials, where power was shared among consuls, senators and magistrates. This system was designed to prevent any one individual from gaining too much control, and for centuries it maintained a delicate balance between the interests of Rome's elite and the needs of its citizens. But as the empire grew in size and influence, so too did the power and ambition of its military generals. The legions, loyal to their commanders, became a force that could sway the fate of the Republic itself. Julius Caesar, a brilliant and charismatic military leader, rose to prominence through his victories in Gaul and his ability to inspire both soldiers and citizens alike. Caesar's conquests dramatically expanded the Roman Republic's territory, bringing immense wealth and glory to Rome. However, his growing influence and ambition alarmed many in the Senate, who feared he would overthrow the Republic's traditions. In 45 BC, Caesar was assassinated by a group of senators who believed they were saving the Republic from tyranny. His death sent shockwaves through Rome and plunged the city into chaos. The assassination marked the end of the Roman Republic and the beginning of a new era. Civil war erupted, and the old republican institutions crumbled, paving the way for a new form of government. Out of this turmoil emerged Caesar's adopted son, Octavian, later known as Augustus. Through political skill and determination, Augustus became the first Roman emperor, consolidating power and ending the cycle of civil wars. Augustus brought peace and stability to the empire, restoring order to a society weary from years of conflict. Under his rule, Rome flourished, and its people enjoyed a renewed sense of security. He ushered in a golden age of Roman history known as the Pax Romana, a period of unprecedented prosperity, cultural achievement and relative peace that would shape the destiny of Rome for generations to come. The Roman Empire eventually fell, weakened by internal strife and external pressure, but its legacy lives on. Roman law, language, architecture and culture have all left their mark on Western civilization. Our language is full of words derived from Latin, the language of the Romans. Our legal systems are based on Roman law, and our cities are still adorned with buildings and monuments that echo the grandeur of ancient Rome. The Roman story is a reminder of the rise and fall of civilizations. It is a tale of ambition, power, and the enduring legacy of a remarkable people.